now to our top story this morning. Hundreds of Palestinians have been killed in an attack on a hospital in Gaza. The number of dead is feared to be as much as 500. And already, as I said, the blame game has begun. The leader of Hamas says Israeli airstrikes are responsible, but Israel retorted by saying the atrocity was caused by an Islamic Jihad group.
Amid the chaos, there is attempted diplomacy, with US President Joe Biden expected to touch down in Israel for talks with Prime Minister Netanyahu. But his meeting with Arab leaders in Jordan has been cancelled. Well, former US Congressman John Leboutillier joins us live now. John, good morning. What can we expect from the president's visit to Israel?
Well, by the way, I've been thinking about this all day, that there is no politician, and I'm a Republican. There's no politician in elected politics today in the United States who's better suited to handle this thing, believe it or not, than Joe Biden. He's been around forever. He was chairman of the Foreign Relations Committee in the Senate, vice president, now 3 years as president. This is why he's going there. He knows these people and he knows the issue. And a lot of things are going on here, including the very real threat that Iran could get involved through Hezbollah and attack Israel from the north. And I know you had a lot of news to read. The most significant item that I've heard in the last 12 hours is that the United States military has not ruled out, that's their words, getting involved militarily if Hezbollah makes a move into Israel. That's a huge potential escalation. And that story is coming out just as Joe Biden is flying into Israel. We, the United States, are very involved now. If we're threatening military action, we have 2 carrier strike groups in the Eastern Med ready to engage. 2,000 more troops just sent in to Israel this week. This thing is a big, big mess waiting to explode.
John, good to have you on, my friend. Been a long time. Nice to see you.
Hi, Jeremy.
Somebody just said in the news that all states with influence should be involved. We know, America, Biden, the leader of the free world. Let's not discuss the criticism of him. We do that enough. Let's talk about the man that you say diplomatically could do the job. But the job's virtually impossible. It would be fair to say, without exaggerating, that the world, certainly the Middle East, is on a precipice at the moment. Overnight, that horrendous bomb, the killing of 500 people, the blame game, the Israelis intimating, and that could be true, that it's another Islamic Jihad, another group, just to add confusion, to point the finger. Yesterday was quite interesting as well. You talk about American influence. There were hints out of Israel that they were changing their strategy. They might not go in by land. We know all about these tunnels in Gaza, hundreds of miles of tunnels, and actually, apparently their headquarters built under a hospital. I don't know. Is the American influence already beginning to show in that sort of communication, John?
No question about it. We would have thought that by now this total invasion of Gaza would have already happened. And it hasn't happened. Ever since Tony Blinken, the Secretary of State, got over there late last week, he's been shuttling around to Jordan, Egypt, Qatar, and back to Israel again, and had a 7.5-hour meeting with Netanyahu. And they've come out and decided to send humanitarian aid back into Gaza, try to open up the southern exit into Egypt and into Sinai. Clearly, they are looking past. Oh, there's one other thing. There's serious negotiations going on to get the hostages out, and they're not going to invade militarily as long as there's a chance diplomatically they could free 225 hostages rather than risk getting some of them killed when they militarily go in. That's why Biden's going there today, because this is such a fluid situation. He wants to influence the way it's going to go. All the time, keeping in mind, and this is where I'm not sure where Biden's head is, the bad guy in the whole pile here is Iran. That's the one paying for all this terror, both in Hamas and Hezbollah, and making all these noises about what's going to happen. If you could do one thing to change the Middle East, it would be pluck the Iranian theocrats out of there, and a lot of this problem goes away.
John, that's the point, isn't it? It's going to be it's the wider aspect of what might happen. Quickly from me before Nick. Yeah. You talked about the hostages. If they got the hostages out, in your mind, John Leboutillier, would that stop an invasion?
No, there will be a limited. They're going to go in anyway because the other part of the mission from day one was kill and wipe out Hamas. And I think Israel's dead set on doing it. All you got to do is go back in the history of Israel to 1972 and the Olympic killing of all their Olympic athletes in Munich. And what did they do after that? They hunted down every one of the PLO people who killed the athletes. It took them years. They got them all. They killed them. Well, the ones who did the massacre from 2 Saturdays ago are sitting in Gaza. Israel's going to go in and kill all of them. No trials, no rights of self-defense. They're going to go in and kill all Hamas inside Gaza.
But John, what does that mean in real terms then? Does that mean a complete flattening of Gaza? When will this end? Where do you see this conflict leading to for the Palestinian people? Of course, Israel have told the northern half of the area to move south. Perhaps some of them will be able to go to Egypt. But what about the rest? If the intention there is to completely flatten Gaza, to get rid of Hamas, where do people go?
Well, I just want to change the language a little bit. I don't think you need to flatten Gaza to kill all of Hamas. I think they bomb buildings where they know Hamas cells operate from. But you do need troops on the ground to go into each building and under each building to root out Hamas, which is hiding in there. That doesn't mean flattening the whole place. But you're right. It's a devastated area anyway. Forget before this attack, Gaza was one of the embarrassments of the human race. A horrible situation for 2 million human beings to live the way those people have been living. Now, how to fix it? One of the ways was in the works and may still be revivable, which is this deal between Saudi Arabia, Israel, and the United States to have Saudi Arabia and Israel recognize each other, end this long problem, have the Arab world and the Israelites combined together in opposition to Iran. That is what is driving all of this, is Iran getting closer to a nuclear bomb. And Israel and Saudi Arabia recognize the threat equally and want to work together. And part of that deal was to address the Palestinian situation. And I think ultimately Saudi money is going to have to come in and pay to fix Gaza, do something so these poor people have a better life than they have now.
Wise words. John Leboutillier, it's been a while, but it's great to have you on Talk today. Come back soon, my friend.
Thank you, Jeremy.
Thank you very much indeed.